Today's video is brought to you thanks to MagTech Ammunition, the official ammunition supplier for all range activities of active self-protection.
Well, Stephen, thanks so much for coming on the program, man. I really appreciate it.
Not a problem.
So, okay, set this up for us now. I mean, obviously, I think most people that are going to watch this have probably seen the video on the main channel, but everything I'm understanding, you work security in Kansas City.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so we're going to be a little circumspect. We don't have to name companies or any of that stuff, right? That's fine.
Yeah.
So tell me what you saw that got this going. It looks like a domestic to me.
I was inside the store, and I was coming out of the back room, and I saw three people, and they were arguing, and they were leaving the store, and I wasn't worried about it because the problem's leaving the store.
Right.
So, they get outside, and the manager comes up. He's like, "Hey, can you help me open the gate?" And I was like, "Sure, I'll help you open the gate. It's part of my job sometimes in the mornings to open the gate." And I'm walking outside, and all I see is her getting punched in the back of the head. And I'm like, "What's going on?" And I start running over there. And that's where you see me pushing the guy off of her and spraying him in the face. So
you just saw him punch her in the back of the head, and like you just decided in that moment, I got to step in.
Yeah. I just did what I had to do.
And so this wasn't an official function of you as a security guard. You just felt like morally you had to get in there.
It was a combination of both. Somebody's getting assaulted in the parking lot. I need to go out and handle it, and I wanted to make sure that nobody else was getting hurt in the parking lot. That doesn't look good for the store that I work for if people are getting hurt. So
all right, I guess that's fair. So you went in and pushed him off, and then you sprayed him down as well. What do you mind me asking? What spray you carry?
Saber.
You carry the Saber.
Yeah. It glows in the dark or something from what I read on the label. That way they can identify them later if they need to go after
the UV.
Yeah.
But it didn't seem to affect him very much.
It didn't look like it from the video, but he was very upset about it, and he kept rubbing his eyes, and he was he had to go to the hospital for it later, though. I found out his mom came in at about an hour or two later. He's like, "Were you the one who sprayed my son?"
And so he ended up at the hospital, which I'm sure they said, "Hey, man, listen, it just hurts. Deal with it."
Yeah. So she was pretty upset about it. So
it looked on the camera like it wasn't super effective, but you standing there said, do you feel like it got him to back off and kept that from escalating further?
It definitely calmed him down. Yes.
Okay. All right. That's really helpful, man, because when I first watched it, I was like, wow, man, maybe he's one of these guys that pepper spray doesn't affect very much. But if you say, man, it backed him off and he wasn't able to see well, and then that got him out of there. I was just surprised he ended up getting in his car and driving off.
Yeah. I was told the only thing I really did wrong was not detain him right then and there. So.
Yeah.
And
told that by your ownership or by law enforcement?
The company that
okay. Got it. But I mean, hey, at least listen, he stopped beating on her. And now, was she grateful for that, or was she like, "What the heck? Get out of my space! What are you doing?"
She was on his side,
even though he punched her in the back of the head.
Yes. She was saying he didn't do anything, and he didn't do anything, and he was claiming that I assaulted him, and it was messy.
Well, thankfully, I guess you had the surveillance footage there that you can go, look, I'm just responding to an assault, right?
Yeah.
Now, so I guess the question for me is that as a guy who does, security for a living, does that situation make you less likely to want to intervene in the future? Because if you go, man, I stepped in thinking I was helping this lady fend off an attack, but she ended up siding against me anyways.
it definitely makes me more cautious in intervening in situations like that. But I would do it again if I had to.
Okay. I mean, sometimes I think that comes from who we are, not who they are, right? So,
Yeah.
if you go, no, this is what I do, whatever. Um, do you feel like I did notice in the raw video that you sent me, in the audio, you're like, wow, man, I didn't realize I was that close to him when I sprayed him.
Yeah.
And do you feel like that hurt your ability to get good coverage on him, or do you feel like it worked okay anyway?
I think it was a lot more effective that I was that close to him though, because I really honestly thought that he was a couple of feet further away from me in the moment.
Huh.
Yeah.
But you definitely, I mean, you were right on top of him. That spray was like, here's a dose. Like right
in the moment, it felt like it took a couple of seconds, but like if you when you watch it and when I rewatch it, it looks like it's done, just like quick and done. So
Hmm.
yeah.
And are you carrying the spray, the fog, or the gel?
It shoots a straight streamline out. I think it's the gel. Yeah.
Okay. Did it like pile up on his face, or did it just make his face wet?
It got his face. It got his face wet. It left that
Like
orange
orange dye on him?
on his face. Yeah.
Okay. Sounds like the stream to me. Okay, that's actually my preferred one. So that's interesting, man. And I think it was effective at not at then you not having to go hands on with the guy at least, right? It backed him off you, and you were like, hey, man, I think you did.
Yeah. I didn't want to go hands on with him because I didn't have backup there, and then in the moment, the three of them, I didn't know they were going to gang up on me.
Right? No 3-on-1 fight, no good, right?
No. No bueno.
Right, no bueno at all. So did you have backup available and they just didn't know you were having problems, or were you on your own?
I was on the radio trying to get a backup out there, and I don't know if you saw in the video, but my radio was bouncing around my leg, and
Yeah.
it's just like, oh God, what am I? Yeah, and I was calling for the man behind me. He was opening the gate. I was trying to call him over to help me kind of keep things calm, but he didn't come over there fast enough.
So, and I just want to ask a couple questions to kind of keep going on that. So it's hard to see from the video quality, but was the pepper spray the highest level tool that you have, or are you armed security with a firearm as well?
I am armed security, yes.
Okay, so you had a firearm on your person.
Yes.
Awesome. So there's a whole nother thing, man, that you're like, hey, wait a minute, this guy's an issue. But I guess I'll ask you, what made you go pepper spray instead of firearm?
I mean, I when I ran up on him, I clearly saw that he didn't have any weapons in his hands. Pushed him off, and I just immediately went for the OC spray, and I saw that it stopped him. But I was thinking like if it got any worse, because they had the other two people there, the victim and then the perp's girlfriend. So if I had to, I might have had to draw on them if they were getting more hostile with me, but I didn't think it was going to be, yeah, you never know in that situation if they're going to all gang up on you at once. So.
Well, and so help me understand then. So that you had the perp, and then the woman he hit was his girlfriend?
Ex, from what I'm told, yes.
So he had his current girlfriend with him, and he hit his ex-girlfriend. Yeah. Man, it's a mess.
Yep.
So what lessons did you take from this incident that you are then going to take into your self-defense from here? What kind of lessons learned have you taken home?
Well, like I said previously, definitely not going to just run into it without analyzing it more, unless immediately a threat like he's got a weapon. But maybe call for backup before I run into the situation. That would have been a better idea. Having somebody on the way.
Yeah, if you got it available. Yeah, get the cavalry on the way, right? Right. Well, hey man, I'm glad the OC spray worked. I think that was the right choice. Obviously, I mean, in the end, could you have perhaps made an argument and said, hey, wait a minute, this is a big, strong man attacking a smaller woman. She was at risk. I felt like, there was a threat of great bodily harm. Maybe. Could you have gotten away with that? Maybe. But boy, now, I mean, okay, so having OC sprayed the guy, you probably don't have any legal problems whatsoever. I mean, cops probably show up and give you a high five for it because he's not injured. He's just sprayed.
They never even showed up. That was the interesting thing. Just my supervisors, and took it into the company, and they were just like, looks like he did what he was supposed to do. And then, like I said, the mother came along like a couple hours later, and she was just complaining, like, you're the one who sprayed my son. I was like, well, yeah, here's the video. This is why I had to do it. And
did that cool her off? Was she like, okay, I get it?
Cooled her off real fast. Yeah.
Yeah, I bet you, if that was my mama, she caught me doing that, I'd have probably caught another whooping when she caught up with me.
Yeah.
Well, good stuff, man. Again, I think the firearm, having the firearm on you, having the less lethal on you, kept you from having to go hands-on with that guy. Great choice. A good hot OC spray, even though it looked on the camera like it didn't do enough. I mean, hey, you said, hey, it backed the guy off. He was all in his face, and he got the heck out of there. I've been worried about him driving off, though. Because,
yeah, exactly. That's what I was kind of worried about. Like, I felt like I should have tried to get more hands-on with him so he wouldn't hurt anybody else, though, driving.
Yeah, but I mean, at some point you go, look, my job was done here, and he's still responsible for him and for what he's doing. So, there's in that. So, man, interesting insights, bro. Appreciate that. I really like the fact we don't get to see a ton of OC spray use on the channel. It's something that I look for more because I carry an OC every day. And I recommend an OC spray as an intermediate force multiplier, right? It's something that you go, look, man, when it's not a deadly threat, I'd much rather hose a guy down with the hot sauce than have to get in a fight with him. Because, then I can get hurt too, right? But, if I just hose him down and keep distance, and I do think you did a really good job of once you hosed him of maintaining some distance from him so you had some options. I think that was a really good job, man.
They suggested that when I OC sprayed him, that like the baton would have been the next level. I don't know how I feel about the baton personally. That's
dangerous, man, because it can become deadly force so fast. You miss a little bit and you hit him in the head with it, and now you've done, or you break a bone. You break his hand with it. Well, now that's great bodily harm, and now we've escalated things because we've got broken bones and those kind of things. I think they have a place. It's just a really limited one. So. Well, hey, man, thanks so much for coming on. I appreciate it. I think this kind of insight for people and seeing kind of what you were thinking and what that does for you at the end and what you used and how it went, I think is really helpful, man. So I really appreciate you helping us out.
I appreciate being on the channel, too. I'm a big fan.
So hang on a second. So you've watched Active Self-Protection before?
Yeah, I subscribed.
That's awesome, man. Well, hey, I'm glad that it's good to see good people, doing good things and doing things the right way, man. So thanks again, Stephen. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.